are going to bring, a burner phone, laptop, iPad, because they know that there is a high percent chance that China is going to tap into that. And I believe that,
right.
The Chinese government told them they have to download some kind of app, which is very suspicious, that I don't think that anyone wants to do it.
Well, that was Boston Celtics center Ennis Freedom on this program a couple of weeks ago, sounding the alarm on CCP surveillance at the 2022 Beijing Olympic Games. Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo was among those who called on the Biden administration to boycott the Games altogether, which kicked off on Friday with an opulent ceremony. He joins me now. Secretary, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks so much for being here.
Maria, it's great to be with you this morning as well.
So you heard Nancy Pelosi warning our athletes to shut up and dribble. What are your thoughts in terms of the games taking place right now and the safety and security of our athletes?
Well, Maria, I love the Olympics, and I love the American young people who work so hard for 4 years to compete. But they are games. They're just games, and that's how we view them. The Chinese Communist Party sees this very differently. This is their propaganda tool for weeks. Ennis Freedom spoke about burner phones, and Speaker Pelosi told our young American kids, you travel abroad and give up all your American rights. Just shut up. Don't say a word, because it is too dangerous. We allowed our athletes to be put in this terrible position. This is exactly why Xi Jinping spent the money on these games. He wants to show that he can dominate the West, that he can cause the West to operate by his rules, under his system. We've seen all the tragedy that has taken place with COVID that came from this place, the Wuhan virus. This is a Chinese propaganda operation being supported by America and by the IOC that has become corrupted in ways that let Xi Jinping walk all over them.
Well, I find it extraordinary that there has been no hearing on the origins of COVID-19. There has been no pushback on the fact that China will not allow investigators in to investigate the origins in Wuhan. You called for a total boycott of these games. What is your biggest concern right now in terms of our athletes? And what do you think Xi Jinping wants in return? I know China is spending billions of dollars on these games.
Well, what Xi wants in return is really straightforward. He wants to tell the world that the West is in decline, and look how great China is. Look what a free, wonderful nation this is, and look how beautiful it is. That's why he put a Uyghur in the opening games of the ceremonies, while he's holding 1 million of that person's family members in the western part of their China and sterilizing women and conducting the worst kind of human rights violations that amount to genocide while the genocide games is going on. So we know what Xi wants. She wants to whitewash his regime. What's in it for America, sadly, and the reason I think that our athletes should not have been put in this place, is that when Ennis Freedom talked about burner phones and Speaker Pelosi said, hey, go over there and don't express your views of America as a great country, just be quiet because the Chinese will pull you from the streets. We also know that they will collect information on these young people, not only the digital footprint that they have in place, why they're asking them to take burner phones like a drug dealer would, but they'll collect the DNA from these athletes. This will be stored in Chinese databases and the military's databases for years to come. No athlete should be subjected to that simply for the opportunity to demonstrate that they are a world-class athlete and they want to compete against the best athletes in the world. I called for a boycott, not because I didn't want these athletes to have the opportunity to compete and excel. We could have done this in 1 million places. Instead, we chose to do it in a regime that is conducting genocide and in Beijing with leadership that has no right to the glory of these games, and to be hidden by American money, sponsors that are doing terrible things to support what's going on in the western part of China. And I so regret that these games are going on today in this terrible place.
Well, we also have, news. We know that they disappeared several people because they didn't like what they were saying. They disappeared Peng Shuai, the famous tennis player. They disappeared Jack Ma. There is real concern about our athletes. I want to take a break, but after this, I want to get your take on these newly leaked documents that reveal just how unprepared the Biden administration was for Afghanistan's fall. Is the same foreign policy team equipped to stand up to Putin and Xi as Biden tries to slash defense spending? The newfound best friendship, Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping. We'll be right back.